in the next 3 minutes, you will consume about 1 liter of pure oxygen, generating the energy to keep you alive. Now, if you were to extract that amount of oxygen from water, you would need to breathe hundreds of liters of water to get that same amount. So, while we all take breathing for a given, it really is quite a challenge for fish and many other aquatic organisms. To make matters worse, water is more viscous than air. Just as, to exaggerate things, honey is more viscous than water. So you can see what happens if you have to live in this viscous medium. Not only is it very difficult to move, but actually if you have to breathe and move the water across your gills, it is really a challenge because a thin layer of water sticks to the gills, impeding the diffusion of oxygen. In my research, I use this perspective, this oxygen perspective, to explain the effects of temperature on growth. Because there's a mystery there. Normally, when animals grow faster, for example by giving them more food, they also become larger in the end. With temperature, animals grow faster, but they actually end up attaining a smaller body size as adults. Now, why is that? How can we explain these opposing effects of temperature? I think it has to do with oxygen. Now, I usually think it has to do with oxygen, but I'll explain in this case. So, I told you that water is more viscous. What happens, what I didn't tell you, is that this viscosity effect mainly affects very tiny animals, very small animals, or the gills of the animals, which are tiny as well. And also that cold water is more viscous than warmer water. So for these very small animals, warming actually alleviates them from this problem of viscosity, allowing them to take up more oxygen and grow faster. The larger animals don't care much about viscosity, so they don't benefit in the same way from this temperature change. What temperature does there is it elevates the baseline cost of maintaining the larger bodies, basically reducing the oxygen supply they have, and therefore they can only grow to a smaller size as adults. In my research, I tried to remove this oxygen constraint by rearing animals under oxygen conditions double to what they are normally. And what I found is if you do that, animals grow faster and they become larger. So oxygen can actually resolve this whole puzzling effect of temperature. Given that body size is a major driver of how ecosystems work, we are now in a much better position to predict the consequences of climate warming. For those of you who've listened breathlessly for the last 3 minutes, please take a breath. Thank you.